Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to do a short garden update. I'm inside currently, and I'm going to take a look first inside the germination tent. I can figure out how to change this camera around. I think I got it. All right. Let's see what I get going on in here. Well, I got one little plant coming there. Which ones are these ones? These ones are vine peaches. If you never had vine peaches before, which I've never eaten them myself, I just seen them online, so I thought I'd buy some seeds. And they're a small melon, the size of a peach. They grow on a vine, and they're not extremely flavorful like a cantaloupe, which that's what I have here. I have cantaloupe started here, but it's something I'd like to try because they're supposed to grow well and even deal with low amounts of water. So I'll give that a shot. The broccoli plants are coming along pretty good. They're going to be going outside into the garden pretty soon. Got more than a couple dozen here going on, which is good for the first part of the season, the early season. When later season comes around in the late summer going into fall time, I'll do a second planting and I'll start those inside the house too and put those outside for a fall crop of broccoli. I really like broccoli. I'm going to have to buy myself another freezer if these things are successful this season. These are my pea sprouts. I grow these. I got 2 trays going right now, and I cut those down, and they can be sauteed and added to things like noodles or rice. I like to pickle them just like I would make refrigerator pickles with 4-to-1 ratio of water and apple cider vinegar. And I put them in a jar and I seal it up and store them in the refrigerator because that's not a full pickling procedure, but it's good for refrigerator pickles, and it works out good because I also do bean sprouts that way. So I can have those, I can have bean sprouts, I can have cucumber pickles where I have, I don't know how many pounds left, but I don't know, probably 20, 30 pounds left of cucumbers from last season in the freezer that I just defrost them and I can pickle those when I need them. Down here is sweet potato. They're going pretty good. We got this pot has a sweet potato in it, and the next pot has a sweet potato in it. They've been growing. I cut off 3 of the vines off the top, and I put them in to start rooting in water. And I put them in here 2 days ago, and you may not be able to see it, but where the bottom leaves are that are in the water, they're starting to put roots out. And that's what I do, is they grow up like this one here. That will get clipped off after it's a few inches taller, and I'll root that also so I can get enough plants started to get probably a 4x8 planting bed full of sweet potatoes. On this side, I got eggplants that are coming out pretty good. I got about 10 or 12 in there, and there's just a few strawberries in there. They're pretty hard to see because they're quite small. Behind the strawberries, I have celery. It's the first time I ever tried growing celery, and it looks like I got plenty of plants going on in there, so I may be able to get something out of those. These are cherry tomatoes. They're kind of on the yellow side. I think I'm going to start giving them some regular fertilizer. I use 20-20-20 fertilizer, so I think I'm going to have to give them a dose of that. I had to do that with my other tomato plants, and I'm not sure what deficiency causes that, but they come back and they get nice and green, and they actually grow very big. I grew very big plants last year. And in the front here, I got banana peppers, and only one has come up so far. I don't see anything else coming up in there. And behind that is bell peppers, and I got 2, 4, 5 of them starting to come up. Those took a while. This morning I planted another one of these containers, and I planted pak choi, also known as bok choy, and it's a Chinese cabbage that grows very well. Over here I got my butternut squash, which is coming along really well, and it's been so humid inside this germination tent that if you look close here at these bottom leaves, these are called the condylarths, and it's putting roots out there already, even though it's not down in the soil. So when I put these out in the soil, and I should do that within the next couple days, it's going to have the nice additional layer of roots growing in there. But these are some nice tall looking plants. They're looking pretty good. Very, very happy the way that these are coming along. Oh, there's some roots on the bottom. Yeah, these are going to grow good. Those are definitely going to grow good. And up here on the next shelf up, I have zucchini squash here. And these zucchini squash, heck, looks like they're getting ready. They got flowers coming on already. And there's even a couple of little zucchinis in there. Kind of hard to see. One's in the back though. There's such a bunch of flowers and zucchini. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get to work and with the next day or two and get an area and get those outside. I started tilling up an area yesterday. And right here I got black seed Simpson lettuce, which is coming along pretty good. And I also got little gem romaine lettuce, where they're coming up. Oh, it looks like there's somebody in here. Wilfred. Hello, Wilfred. Looks great, trusted. I wish I had a big yard to grow a nice garden. I only had to grow 1 or 2 things a year. Have you ever tried to grow peanuts? I want to try them next. Well, Wilfred, I've never grown peanuts, but probably about 3 years ago, I bought a bag of raw peanuts in the shell, and I put them in jars and sealed them up, and I have not yet planted them, but I was thinking about trying to get those in the garden this year. I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to grow. I'd never grown them before. But I'm gonna go outside, show you what I got going on outside. I don't have a big lot here, and hopefully the reception will work all right. I hope it doesn't stutter too much. But out here, I had a lot planted out here last season. It's going to be even more this season. This is elephant garlic in here. And this gets planted in the fall time. So this all got planted last fall, and it grows during the winter time. And it'll grow downwards of 20 degrees temperature. It'll grow. We had some really cold weather in the end of the winter time, and I lost a bunch of them, but not a real lot. I probably lost a half a dozen, maybe 9 or so. And over here, I got a couple other planting boxes in the ground. I grew my pak choi in this box here. I'm going to pull that up and do something a little different. And I got a planting box outside the fence here. And in that planting box, I had butternut squash last season. I'm going to try the vine peaches in there. But here I got a 4-foot by 8-foot planting box. And it's a raised metal bed. I bought these off of Amazon. I should have bought more of them when I got them because the price went up on them. But I'm still going to buy some. I buy them a couple at a time. And in this, I planted this over a month ago, and this is potatoes. These are just regular russet potatoes that I had to purchase at the grocery store. And I put them in a box for about a month, and they started sprouting, and I got them out in the garden, and some of them are coming along pretty good. This is the time of year to get them started. I'm in zone 7, and 50-degree temperature is what they really like to start setting the potatoes, the tubers. So it should work out good. I should get something out of them. These here, these are red onions, red Creole onions. I just put these in last week into here. I don't know how much of it you can see. Kind of sunny here, but there's about 180 of them in here. And it looks like most of them are standing up, so that's a good sign to get started. Over here, I'm going to do beets. I got to put my top layer of soil mixed with organic material. It's another thing I got to get working on. But it looks like, I'm not sure if you can see that, what my finger is. A little yellowish looking sprout coming up, a little yellowish look going there. Those are carrots, which is good to see a couple of them coming up. And I have more of these planter boxes here lined up. They're sitting on top of 2x4s that I used in order to create these bed areas, and I grew in them last year, and this year I'll grow in them again. This one's 16 feet long that I have in place, 4 feet wide. And this I'm going to put broccoli, and broccoli has to be spaced pretty far apart. So on the back side, on this side here, I'm going to put a row of broccoli, then I'm going to space it about 2 feet and put another row of broccoli, and then on the front I'm going to do my pak choi, which I think they'll be good companion planting. And when I do this, as you see here, I have this dugout in between this planting box and this planting box. What I do is I put sticks. These are dry sticks. They've been outside and allowed to dry out pretty good. And I put a layer of these sticks down, and I add leaves to them. And I'm kind of lacking on the amount of leaves I have. But I'll make do this year, and in the fall time, I'll add more leaves and just keep going at it. It's a yearly event. It's a way of life. Wilfred says, you have been busy. Yes, I have. Yep. I could do more, but I'm retired, and I don't want to work that hard and that often at manual labor. So, I do it slow. I'll come out and I'll just work for an hour or even as little as a half hour, but I tend to work very aggressively from my years of being a mason. So I get something done when I come out here. So as I lay out these garden beds with my sticks, I pass through the areas that I have for walking paths. And that way I can either put more of those fabric pots like I have the carrots, or I just leave it open. Like I'll probably leave this one over here open, and I can walk through that. And I capture most of the water that I use inside the house, like when I wash my dishes, for example. And I capture it in 5-gallon buckets, and I dump it in there and dump it at that location, so it adds water instead of wasting it. There's no sense sending it to the sewerage for no reason. Here's the latest boxes that I got there. They're a little different than the first ones I showed, but it's the same thing. These ones are just bare zinc instead of painted. I preferred to have had the painted ones so they match, but there were no more of those available. I really should have grabbed more when I got those. And here I'll just have a 3-foot area where this pile of soil is. And I'll do the same thing like with the walking paths. I'll put a couple of those big fabric pots. And I got lots of things. I got turnips, I got beets, I have a lot of seeds on hand. And then on this side, right in front of the house, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to plant here. I was thinking maybe the sweet potatoes or some squash, but I'll get something here. I had these planted with zucchini last season on both sides of the door. But yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I haven't got as far along as I wish I had, but that's just the way it is. Moving down here, this is another area that I've grown before where I dug it up the end of last season, and I moved my iris plants out to the fence line here, which those will be coming out pretty soon and putting purple flowers on them, and they look pretty nice. But what I'm going to do is where these piles are, which have weeds all in them now, but I'll strip that out. I'm going to lay out the same garden bed situation that I had on the area that I just showed. So looking this way, I'm just going to continue the row towards this direction, and I'll probably put another 3 4-foot by 8-foot planting beds. Then I can even go further along if I want to continue and do the same thing across this piece of area. But that will be determined whether I want to keep going at that or not. I mean, that's enough area that I have in plan at this point in order to grow as much as I need. But here is where I have my stock for my elephant garlic that I've been growing. I started this in 2020, and I dig it up, and sometimes, like this one here, I didn't dig up for 3 years, and there's a bunch of them in there, but I'll get them dug up. I started bringing them over to this planting box right here, which is a 7-foot by 7-foot planting box, and I got a couple of rows, and those are all from the other plants from this location. I only started with 2 heads of elephant garlic, which has about 10 cloves between 2 heads. So I started with 10 cloves, and I got hundreds of bulbs for this season. But I got another section over here that I broke ground on at the end of last season. And actually, it was the late season. I was able to plant green beans in here. Now, half of it, I'll come in this way, half of it, this area to my left here, that I had stripped it down, but it has to be all sifted, and that's just another thing I'll work on during the course of this year. And this area, I got it all tilled up. I tilled this yesterday, and I'm going to grow my zucchinis across the front of this. That's about 25 feet long, so I'll be able to get about a dozen zucchini plants going across the front of it. And then the rest of it I'll do in green beans. I'll plant my green beans all the way back here, and I'll have a walking path. That's what I got these stakes for, where I'm going to have my walking path. And here I already got snow peas started. There's one right there, but this is a row that goes up here, and there's a bunch of them that have come up. I had to do a second planting, but there's a whole bunch of them in here. I'm gonna have to put the fence up pretty soon so that they'll have something to climb on. And that's pretty much what I got going on. Just thought I'd make a quick video and give an update to anybody that wanted to see a video about gardening. And Wilfred, good to see you here. And I'm gonna be going now. And you have a nice day, and see you around.